Hi everybody, I'm facing the other direction so it's much darker, so I apologize in advance. It is what it is. It's getting more and more difficult for me trying to accommodate things in this place and trying to do these on a regular basis because my roommate has complained about my doing these videos and they bother her. It bothers her having to listen to my voice, she says. Hi, Carol. So this morning I did a very short one so as not to annoy her, but everything does annoy her. And I thought I would do it while she was out having her therapy. So hopefully it will not annoy her till she gets back and finds something else that I do that annoys her, like breathing. She is cantankerous. She's angry, and she lashes out a lot. So I keep telling myself I'm going home soon, so I won't have to deal with this a whole lot more. And I just came from my therapy. My leg is killing me now. Hi, Dan. I was doing a lot better this morning. Yes, Miss Grumpy. She is incredibly grumpy, and she complains about everything. She had complained to her son at one point that we had the draperies drawn between us because she has the window bed, so the light comes in on that side, so I never see daylight because she keeps the curtain drawn all the time now. Nothing other than I have a crotchety roommate, and everything bothers her. It literally bothers her. Oh, Claudette. It's disturbing because I really try very hard. I go out of my way to try to be accommodating, but from the time I first got here, she was upset the first day when my friend visited me because her son came and said he needed to draw the curtain because she was feeling uncomfortable because I was talking to my friend and she didn't know my friend, so she felt I don't know if it was alienated, left out, whatever. I've never had a roommate like that before because usually they would just join in the conversation if they were so inclined, or not if they were inclined not to. But she complained that I'm on the phone too much, and she complained that she doesn't like to listen to me saying the same thing over and over again. And I said to her, well, I had hoped that you could maybe not listen. I said, I do try to speak quietly. And I said, when you have your son here or when you're on the phone, you speak very loudly. And I've never said a word because I don't want to interfere with your enjoyment of whatever you can get joy out of as you go through this difficult process. But the feeling is clearly not mutual. And at this point, I said to her this morning when she was complaining about my doing this, and she wanted me to find some other place to do it, and I said, like where? And she said, well, go find someplace else. And I said, no. I said, I'm going to do it from here. What I wanted to say to her was, you really should have a private room, because if everything bothers you, you should be in a room where nobody's going to be there to bother you. I personally like having company normally, although her company is not company, because if she's not angry at me, she's angry at the aides, she's angry at the doctors. They came in this morning to tell her they had a discharge plan in place, and she started yelling at the discharge planner. So I don't interact most of the time. I live on my little side of the curtain, the dark side. And I keep saying to myself, one more week, just one more week. So I'm hoping that it all goes well. My leg is really bothering me this afternoon. The session that I have in the morning usually goes extremely well. The session in the afternoon sometimes winds up hurting me more. These are all the sounds that we have going by all day, somebody pushing some kind of a cart. So it's going to be so much easier to do these things when I'm home, presumably. I have to figure out where I'm going to put the camera, but aside from that, it should be easier to do. And Lord knows we won't have any interference. I really wanted to do this earlier, but the time didn't allow for it. I wanted to, airplane, I wanted to, lost my train of thought again. Good grief. I don't remember. I just don't remember. Totally gone. It's gonna have to come back. Yeah, I know. It's as in duh. It'll come to me, but probably right after I finish this, and I have to finish it before 3:30 because she'll be back at 3:30, and I just don't want to have to deal with it again because she can be nasty, and I'm so tired of nasty. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. People in my world, generally speaking, are not nasty, or if they are, they're not nasty that I'm aware of, which is just as good for me. She is. And I try not to take it personally, but boy, oh boy. And then, you know, she'll complain to her son, and he dutifully tries to act on her behalf. And I said to him at one point, I said, you know, I know this is your mother. I said, but she can be difficult. And I said, she tends to get angry. And I said, I try to stay out of her way. But sometimes there is no out of the way. She will find something to complain about. She will complain if they have to change the yeah, I know, it's really frustrating, Claudette. It's so hard to deal with this kind of stuff. Okay. If I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I will walk there myself. I will try not to make a sound. I don't have the light on. I just put the light on in the bathroom. But the aides will see me and they will walk me back to bed, and they may say a few words. That gets her upset. She gets very upset when anybody talks when she's sleeping, but the problem is she often goes to sleep right after she eats. So dinner is at 5. She could be asleep by 6. The whole rest of the evening is there. So if she's asleep, it's time to be quiet. And her son explained to me at one point she lives alone. She's used to being alone. So she likes peace and quiet. That's all well and good, but she's in a place where there are other people. And I said, I offered to change rooms in the beginning, and how I wish I had. But now it's one more week. It makes no sense to change rooms. So I think the two of us should just agree to disagree and just tough it out for one more week. It is literally 7 more days after today. As I told you this morning, by the way, I'm going to put a picture up. Couldn't do it this morning because this phone got too low, the battery, but I'm going to put a picture up of my physical therapist on my Growing Older with Style page on Facebook because he's wonderful. And I absolutely adore him. He got the orthotist. I think I told you about that. The orthotist really gave me hope today, because I said to him, eventually, I know it's not now, but I'm just trying to make plans for the future. Eventually, I'm going to have to drive again in order to make a living. So how can I accomplish that? Is there any brace that I can wear that I can drive with? And he said to me, there are 3 different ways you can accommodate that. One is that you have them put in a left brake and a left accelerator in the car. And he said, you don't cross your foot over, you just have it on the left side. And he said, that could work for you. He said, it's not expensive, it's a couple of $100s or a few hundred or whatever. But I don't own my car, I tend to lease my cars, so that is a problem. And I don't know that I could afford to buy a car because the payments are typically higher that way. So I have to see how that could possibly work out. And he said the second option was to go for handbrakes, but he said he didn't think I needed. She is a curmudgeon. She absolutely is. And it's just about everything. There is nothing that makes that woman happy more than 10 minutes. She gets upset with her son. Her son works 2 jobs, and he took off 3 weeks from work when she injured her shoulder, and he was here every single day, and he was coming every single day. He's no longer coming every day. He works 2 jobs. He doesn't get to sleep that much. He lives in, yeah, it is not one that's used all the time, Dan. It is, she lives in the same building as her son. It's a mother-daughter setup, or a 2-family, and he lives upstairs. But I imagine it must be difficult if he's at her beck and call, because he had not come for one day. I think he'd been here every single day, and she has him take her out for a walk, and he takes her all around the place, and he cleans up everything where she is, and he does a lot for her. And I heard her call him and complain because he wasn't here early enough to suit her. And I thought, oh my God, you should be so grateful that he's here. I would give so much to have my son come to visit me. I'd be happy if he could come once, let alone every day. But I think, I guess if you're used to having that kind of thing, it's easy to get spoiled. That's really cute. I like that line. You can't please them with a pleasing machine. Yeah, there are some people you just cannot make happy. And she gets annoyed with that. There's nothing I've seen that hasn't annoyed her at one time or another. Not the same thing annoys her every single day, but apparently I do. I annoy her every single day. But as I say, I don't interact unless she chooses to interact. The only way in which I will interact is if she sneezes and I say, God bless you, and she sneezes. But aside from that, I'm trying to mind my own business and just go about my life, trying to make it a tiny bit easier. And I was so thrilled to be able to interact with all of you again that it was disturbing to me that she wanted to take that away from me. And she doesn't like to listen to me talk. Don't listen. Why are you listening to what I say? Turn up your television a little bit. She has her television low, but everything else is loud. So, and I said to her, when you're on the phone, you don't realize how loud you talk. I said, but I don't care, because I want you to be happy. Actually, believe it or not, Angie, she does say thank you when I say God bless you, when I say God bless you. But, and yet there have been a few times when she's been nice. When I was suffering terribly from the constipation, I mean, in fairness, I want to be 100% fair and give credit where credit is due. She actually complained to them that they were not listening to me when I said I was in pain. So she was really decent in that regard. I suspect it's like she's just angry, she's unhappy, and apparently what happened was she had been in here and she was here for rehabilitation before, and because they were not very responsive, and in all fairness, they are not very responsive, but in a lot of places, they're not very responsive if you have to go to the bathroom, if you ring the button. The thing that gives me the biggest chuckle is there is a sign with a stop sign on it that I'm looking at as we speak that says, stop. Please use the call bell for assistance. Do not get up alone. Fall prevention. Partnering with your care team. Now, oh yeah, Claudette, I'm sure that we would have fun. I have fun with everybody. Every single roommate that I've had, I've gotten along great with. It is difficult when you have somebody who just doesn't respond the way people typically respond. Again, when my friend Linda visits, Linda comes later in the day sometimes, so she'll stay sometimes till dinner time, so till 5 o'clock, and sometimes she'll stay even a little bit later than that. That seems to annoy her too, because why is she talking to me? She's visiting me. I wish you were too, Carol. Uh, yeah, exactly. She is actually, yeah, but how did I make out on that roommate lottery? It is what it is. I'm really hoping she stays the entire session. I have only 40 minutes left till she comes back, so I've got to maximize the time. What I need to do this afternoon is I'm going to make phone calls about the medical alert, because it's really important to me to know that when I'm home, if God forbid anything happens, I have that medical alert. I need to have the chair in place, and I'm going to. I didn't know you were in Quebec, Claudette. Yes, I'm sure you would, Carol, and we would make each other laugh till we cried. And but it should, you should be able to see the humor in things. This is a difficult road that we're all on. There are so many patients here with so many different problems. If we can't be nice to each other, if we can't try to make the burden a little less for each other, and if we can't chuckle once in a while or see our own situations as amusing in the greater scheme of things, then life gets too burdensome. You have to be able to laugh a little bit. Life is really tough if you can't laugh. And I'm determined that I'm going to make the most of this life that I have, and I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy. I was so excited when I found a way to get back to you and that I could do this even till I got home. What a thrill that was. And I said, oh my God, here we go. I come by it honestly, Carol. I have, hi Sheila. My father had an incredible sense of humor. He was really funny. My younger brother has a great sense of humor. My older brother has no sense of humor whatsoever, but he's wonderful, and he's caring, and he's talented, and he's artistic, and he's bright, and he's got an incredible relationship with his wife and his son, and what a gift is that. So in addition to have a fulfilling life career, he's a psychologist, and he's had that. He's had a wonderful personal life. He's traveled a great deal, and he's giving back to me at this point in the sense that he's calling me every single day, has skipped very few days, apologized to me for not being able to come visit often. He came to the city to visit me. I mentioned that when I was at Memorial Sloan Kettering. He came to the hospital, which was an odyssey for him. He had to take the railroad from Connecticut, and it's pretty far up in Connecticut. He's in Bridgewater, and he came down to Penn Station and then had to Uber up to the hospital and then do the whole trip in reverse to go home. So the trip was taking him 3 or 3.5 hours each way, plus the time he spent with me. It's an exhausting day. I had no expectation whatsoever of his visiting here, but he has given me such hope, even on the darkest of days, when he reminds me that this is temporary, when he reminds me that it will get better, that this is not a permanent state of affairs. This is this moment in time. He does, and he's a gift to me. My other brother has been a gift to me also many times in my life. Right now he is being sort of holding off and not in touch so much. Exactly, Kathy. Each can do exactly what they can do, and I would expect no more, because I don't want to be a burden to anybody, and I certainly don't want to be a burden to them or to my son. I do have a wonderful family, small family, and I don't have a lot of friends in my life. I never have. I have acquaintances, but I've always had some good friends, because I'm not superficial. I cannot I cannot pretend to be one thing and be something else. I cannot, there is no facade about me. My face says everything. I wish I could hide more of my feelings. I'd probably do better in this world. But I am exactly who and what I am. And yeah, and I do what I can. So I'm okay with that. And I love and am happy with every single person in my life exactly the way they are and exactly for what they have to give. And I am perfectly fine with everything they cannot give. That's okay too. I am looking for my next little miracle. Yeah, I mean, Denise, I can't be anything other than that. And by the way, Denise, I definitely owe you an in-depth conversation, and that will follow. It's just been very, very hectic. It's these crazy times of day here. Yeah, son of a gun. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's sort of my phrase. I'm often amazed by people. Okay, I'm glad you understood. Yes, Dan, I agree. Positivity does attract positivity. And that's all I want in my life. Life is hard enough. We need not add to anybody's burden. What goes around comes around anyway. There is a price to pay for everything we do that is harmful to somebody else. I try to live every day doing no harm. Many, many years ago, when my son was first born, I was not working at a paid job at the time, just for that time. But yes, they will get better, and that is the good news, and I'm grateful for it. So I'm trying to make this interim period of time as decent as it can be. Oh, I'm so glad that you did catch me live. Yeah, Dan is great. I'm so happy to have him with us. Um, I, I, I want to pass through this world having made a positive impact on people, not harming. Your husband is right. Life is hard enough. Reminds me of, and I think I mentioned this the other day, my Aunt May, who was a tough woman who, sort of did what she had to do. She took the tough breaks in life. She did what she did. Oh, it's well earned, Dan. And she had said at one point, I was terrified of dying when I was young until my father died, and he showed me the beautiful place he was in, and he showed me that there was absolutely nothing to fear. Don't get me wrong, I'm not looking forward to the moment of transition, but I do know that the place that we go is a beautiful place if we lived a good life. Oh, putting on your beautiful face. I love what you're doing with the makeup. I really do. Gorgeous sculpted cheekbones, Sheila. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, in any case, I lost my train of thought again. Son of a gun. What? Oh, what my Aunt May. When I was terrified of dying, my Aunt May said once, "You don't die so easily. You have to suffer first." And I didn't get it at the time, but boy, do I get it now. It's really true. You have to suffer into each life. So always be kind when somebody else is going through a tough time, because you never know when it's going to be your turn. It's an interesting thing. One of the aides here has given me a difficult time from time to time. You're getting ready to film a video. Oh, I'm glad you caught me too. I have to tell you, I can't wait to try those bloody cookies. I actually meant to bring one over to give it a try. Oh, please, Claudette, this is a gift for me, much more than any gift I can give you. And for any gift I give you, I am most grateful, because it serves me very, very well. But I forgot what I was going to say. I'm so glad, Carol. I know we've been through some things together where we have suffered the same feelings, where we've had to get through the times that were tough for us for whatever reason, and facing the challenges that we fear the most. And that's not easy. I mean, for me, I had to laugh because I was so terrified of, you had me looking up at the clock to make sure she's not on her way back yet. I feel like I'm sneaking around smoking a cigarette while my mother ran to the store. So, yeah, living alone, you know, it's interesting. I am not basically afraid to, I'm basically not afraid to live alone, although I shouldn't say that. I'm basically not afraid to live alone as long as I have my dogs with me because they make me feel like I'm not alone. But being alone has its own consequences possibly, and the things to be a little bit afraid of. So I really want to get in on this conversation that everybody is having because I think you're having a good time. Yeah, living alone if you're well and you're able to function and you have mobility and you don't fear something catastrophic happening is not a terrible thing. As long as you're comfortable within your own skin, I've never had to run away from myself. I was never at odds with myself, so I never had to run away and be with people just so I didn't have to think. That's fortunately not me. But the times when you are vulnerable, and dogs are people too, you betcha, and they're some of the nicest people, I have to tell you. I cannot wait till I get my dogs back, but I don't want to do it prematurely because I don't want them to suffer for it, and I don't want me to suffer for it, because my biggest fear is how I am going to get the dogs fed. I have gone along with absolutely either plastic bowls or paper plates for their food, although in a way they could then wind up scattering everything and it could be difficult for me to pick up. Maybe I have to get one of those long handle, what do you call it, dustpan, and have a long hand, well, a broom, so that I can sweep whatever dog food right into that receptacle and then just toss it right into a garbage bag. I plan to keep a plastic garbage bag attached to one of the drawers in the kitchen, have it draped over the drawer so anything that needs to go into it during the day will go in there. Yes, they arrived and they look so enticing. I cannot wait to try them. An automatic feeder. OMG. I never, but then again, it would get dirty. How would I clean it out? They are absolutely unconditional loves. It doesn't matter. Even people who don't treat their dogs well get love back, and that tears me apart, because those wonderful, loving creatures who are on this earth to teach us lessons about love and loyalty if we only pay attention, how lucky we are to have them, and how I wish that more people understood what a great, great gift they are. I feed dry dog food and a few tablespoons, it does hurt, Dan, a few tablespoons of the canned food that I mix in, because they do make us better human beings. They like it so much better. Okay, so if I do that, then I would just have to get them, but getting them the canned food would be difficult then, because I have to get all of the bowls down at the same time, lest each one try to steal the other one's food, because they always think the other one has something better. And little Miss Muffet, my Ruby Tuesday, she will outrun anybody if she thinks she can get some little bit better food. I mean, she is the most aggressive of the three. She's the youngest, she's tiny, and she's letting the boys know. I mean, she is boss, and they sort of acknowledge it, and they let her play her role to perfection. So, and the funny thing is, Suzanne, the woman who has her has them with her, has said to me that their personalities have come out, and you can see each one's personality. And she said to me, Ruby is the smartest dog she's ever seen. She said, she's smarter than my dogs. And I said, let me tell you how smart she is. When she was a little puppy, when I first got her, she was tiny. I think she was about 3 or 3.5 pounds when I got her. And she used to, if I had a chair and I tried to hide something from her, I might have had some things piled up on the chair. She would look at the chair, and somehow she figured out that if she leaned against the chair and pushed a little bit repeatedly, that she could make the chair jiggle a little bit. And sometimes when she got lucky, the item of her devotion would fall on the floor, just where she had access. I also remember that she went through 2 of those little video recorders when we were using camcorders and the like. I had bought 2 of the little ones. I think I got it on QVC or HSN or whatever. And they were really good. And they did wide angle shots. They took really good pictures. It came with a silicone case. And after the silicone case, it went into a regular case, and there was a zipper on it. I had it in the silicone case, in the Yorkie and long-haired Chihuahua. That must be an adorable combo as well. My dogs don't look anything like themselves, but that's for another day, and I'm sure that they will. Yes. But what was I did it again. I just lost my train of thought. I know it was about the dogs. Something about Ruby. Oh, not about the personalities. She told me that my dogs now bark. The camera, thank you. What she did with the camera was, I had a big handbag. I had the camera in the bottom of my handbag. She managed to dig it out of my handbag, bite through the zipper of the outside case. Then she got to the silicone case and chewed that off, and she had ruined the camera. She chewed into it and she ruined the camera. So I had to get a second one, and I got insurance on the second one, though I wasn't sure the insurance would pay for Ruby. Son of a gun is right. Gun of a son. Yeah, she was unbelievable. In the beginning, she was scary. She was adorable. I couldn't stay angry at her long because she was just too damn cute. But she was a rip. She was really a rip. And the fact that yes, you gotta love them. And I absolutely adore them. And it's funny because my son kept saying to me, you're gonna have to find homes for at least 1 or 2 of them, because he said, any place you move, nobody's gonna take 3 dogs. And I said to him, I cannot think about that. When I got really bad, and when I didn't know what was going to happen with this sarcoma, I didn't know what was going to happen with me. And there were some people on the forum who were saying things like, you really should...
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, just looking in.
Yeah, she's out at therapy right now. Yeah.
Just checking everyone.
Okay. Where was I? I'm getting lost a lot. I need you to tell me where I was. Okay, I know. That's one of the... Oh, when I didn't know what was going to happen with me, I found myself. Okay. When I wasn't sure, and there were people telling me if I cared about the dogs, I needed to place them. And I started to think about it, and I thought, oh my God. And then Marla, who had taken the dogs at first, had said to me at one point, you really may have to split the dogs up. Well, I sat and cried. And then I thought, how do I split them up? Because if they don't have me, at least they have each other. So they have some feeling of safety in the fact that they're together. And then I started to think about it, and I thought, okay, which one or ones could I let go of, and which one or ones would I keep? And the more I thought about it, the more I cried. And I said, well, I'd have to keep Milo because Milo's the oldest. Milo has from time to time had little seizures, which started when he was 3 years old, and apparently it happens in some Havanese. Thank God he has them very rarely, but he has had them, and I would never not be there for him if God willing. So he had to stay with me. And then I thought, okay, Bailey, because Bailey's independent and Bailey would be okay. And then, but I look at Bailey, and Bailey, when he looks into my eyes, I am seeing his soul. And I swear he's seeing my soul. And I said, I can't get rid of, I can't place Bailey. Ruby, I said. And then I said, my little girl, my baby girl. And she looks at me, and she's the most fearful of them all when she's placed in a new situation. She's okay once she gets acclimated, but when she's placed in a new situation. So at that point, I thought, what do I do, God? How do I deal with this? What do I do? Sophie's choice. And that's exactly what I said to my son. I said, you're asking me to make Sophie. I could cry. Yeah, no, I don't know how it's going to work out because I don't know where I'm going to live. I honestly don't know where I'm going to live in the next several months. But somehow there has got to be a way because it's me and my babies. I mean, I love them. I mean, right now, as long as I can stay in my house, at least they have the backyard. And they're safe when the gate is closed. They can go out and then they can come back in. And they're okay. If I have to go into a rental somewhere, then I don't know how it's going to be. I don't want to, I'm not ready to deal with that yet because I'm not there yet. And I'm going to deal with the difficulties that I have today. Because if I project into the future, and my brother keeps telling me that, and he keeps saying, Jerry, you can't do that. You cannot keep looking to the future. You have to get through today and tomorrow and the next day. And the future will take care of itself based upon what happens in the next several days, but you cannot focus on the future. I live in New York. And yeah, so I'm doing the best I can to do that. But when you have things on your plate that are scary, you don't know where the future is going to take you. And yes, I agree with you. They will keep me on the road to recovery because I need to be there for them. And yes, it is, Shorty, it is going to be one day at a time. I need to do it that way, and that way I can cope. Exactly. It is a reason to get up. And I mean, if I wake up in the middle of the night, they're there. If I get up to go to the bathroom, they get up because they're my little people. They're my little four-legged people. And I'm going to put some more photos up on my Facebook page temporarily until I can start doing the regular videos again. And as soon as I can figure out, or if I can figure out how to put photos on here, I'm not sure, on my pack exactly. I absolutely do feel so much love for them, from them. I know that they have really acclimated well. I'm going to see if I can put a little video up there where she did a video of the dogs and how they reacted when her son came home. I don't know, maybe I even put that up already, I'm not sure. They are protectors. And believe it or not, with 3 little dogs, I feel safe in my home. When they're not there, it's going to be the first time I'm in my house 32 years, 33 years. And I've had dogs the whole time I've been there. I cannot imagine living in the house and closing the door and having no dogs. It's inconceivable to me. I adore them. And they know that they're loved. They know that they are. I really was unable to do as well by them in terms of them getting, they did have mats. It was harder for me to keep up with. I mean, during the time I was doing radiation therapy, I would spend 3 hours sitting at the kitchen table, and you're right, Carol, sitting at the kitchen table and dematting dogs because I would listen to, I would, tell Alexa to play Dean Martin, which, by the way, since my radiation therapy, I cannot listen to him anymore. But I would do that because he has such an easygoing way about him, and I would be grooming the dogs. I can't do that now. I don't know when I'll be able to pick them up. Aside from picking them up weight-wise, I don't know how I balance-wise because I can't risk falling over if I bend down to pick up a dog. So I may only be able to pick them up from a sitting position. Maybe if I'm sitting in a chair and I can bend over and pick them up. Right now I can't bend that far because of all the surgery that I had across my abdomen. So, hi Carol, it's nice to see you. I so I'm not sure how all of that is gonna work. Who do I like musically? I mean, I like a lot of different people, different genres of music. I love New Age music. Tom Barabbas is one of my favorite composers of all time. I have his Journey to Sedona, Return to Sedona, a number of his albums. I think I had a link to his stuff at one point. I find his music haunting. I find his music it is healing, and I feel as if it feeds my soul. So that kind of music, I've enjoyed Yanni. I love a lot of classical music. You live in Arizona. My grandkids live in Arizona. So, I love Michael Bublé. I love to listen to him. I listen to Frank Sinatra. Yeah, they are intuitive. I have not been to Sedona, but I know that Sedona would be a place that I would resonate with. I have no doubt. I am a very spiritual person, and I know that that's a spiritual place. The kids' favorite singer, who is it? Oh, I know. One of these days I must go. The kids have been in Scottsdale, and now, of course, my son is in LA, so the kids go out to LA sometimes. But New York is sort of left in the dust, and I am at a time in my life where I could really. The veil is thinner there. I bet it is. I really bet it is. Troy Sivan? Oh, you don't think I like him? What, is it hard rock, or is it, what kind of music is it? I know that. I know that, Kathy. I just haven't a doubt. But I feel as if I can tap into a lot of that stuff no matter where I am. I used to meditate regularly, and I did. Yes, I am very, very spiritual. I am a spiritual being living, having a human experience rather than the other way around. So, and I get all of that. So, yeah, I don't know how I became aware of it. It is time for me to start to think about rounding this up, even though it's electropop. Okay, I'll have to listen to it. So yeah, it's that time. So yes, I have been absolutely directed. Just one second. Sonia, I like your hair down. Looks nice. I like your hair down. It looks nice.
Give me half an hour and I'm pinning it tight, because when you start moving around,
Yes.
it gets so hot.
Yeah, but it looks good.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to leave either, Dan. So all right, so I'll stick around for a couple of minutes, and
Yes.
and then I've got to check anyway. It's now
All right.
20 after 3. I really want to
Okay.
check on those medical alert things so I can find the proper thing. Then tomorrow I can come to see you and tell you a little bit more about it, possibly. And maybe I will have found the one that I actually am going to get.
How
A
strong
couple of them have gotten really good reviews,
that you don't need that.
and I'm sure you can hear a lot of, yeah.
They told them that I'm going
Yeah, there
early
was
for
one,
an
I wish I could remember the
appointment
name
with
of it. It
my
was not Medical
doctor. I'm
Alert.
gonna be going
It was
home
another
and
one. There also is supposedly an incredible one in California, but I think it's local to California. So, but I will find one, and I need to do it. I need to do it by the end of the weekend because I want to make sure I have it before I go home. So once again, I am going to be back tomorrow. I can't tell you exactly what time tomorrow because we don't have regular, yes. Yeah, I know. Having a groomer come to the house, supposedly the dogs were groomed by a groomer who came to the house, so it's a little scary. But I have to look into it. I have to find solutions for a lot of things along the way, and I will. So I have no idea, Angie. It never occurred to me. I'm guessing no. They don't pay for the lift chair either. They used to pay, from what I hear, they used to pay for the lift device, not the chair. So they oh yes. So they don't do any of that stuff, and they've cut back so much, so that's not going to happen. But I think a lot of the devices you can get free or inexpensively right now, and you pay the monthly service. I could be wrong, but I will check it out, and I will definitely let you know. Cameraman wants to start recording, by all means, and send him my best, and I will come and take a look, and I'm going to let you know about the cookies by next time. All right, take care, everybody, and it has been a wonderful time with you, as always, and I'll see you at some point tomorrow. I'm guessing it's probably going to be mid to late morning, but I'm not sure, and I'll see as many of you as can be there. Take care, and I look forward to it. It's been great. Thanks as always. Bye-bye. Love you too. Love ya.